Good evening. Welcome to episode 214 of the Brewgooders Beer, Comics and Assorted Geekery Podcast. Just noticed as I was saying that there isn't a comma after beer on that bit, so I'm going to take that away just now. Audio listeners are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. But
this week we could be talking about beer comics, about beer. Captain Tennis.
Definitely. I think everyone assumed that we would have done something like that already. They would have fixed it. Anyway, I'm Geoff. To my in the middle is Andrew, and on the right, but not as far as we're aware, remember the far right is Stu. Thank you for bearing with us. I know we weren't around last week, and that was really last minute, and that was my fault. So I had to call quits. Like literally, you guys were at 5-2, but the Nicholson household was not a place to do podcasts in last week.
I don't think that here, and I've just put it into the fridge, and I've just pulled it out.
Yeah.
Took off the spider web from the top, and it was all good.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much for everyone's patience, and I hope that I the respect was cool. The love and respect that folk were sending our way was really smart last week. What are you guys drinking?
I'm drinking Citra Asiega, which has got a lovely,
like a video game level design.
Yeah, the actual the cover it's quite reminiscent of. There's quite a famous painting by I want to say Turnbull, but that's not right. An American guy, and it's a painting of it's nighttime in a cafe.
Oh yeah. I see
Kingdom Come. So the cover of it's brilliant. It's called Citra Asiega. It's a New England IPA. It's 6.5%. It's very fruity.
Yeah.
Very thingy of me. Do you know what? When you drink something and it takes you back, it just like grabs you and takes you right back. It tastes exactly like Speech Bubble.
Oh, right, cool.
Because it's again a New England IPA, 6.5%, so it's strong, it's fruity, it's amazing.
How do you feel about?
It's not a breakfast.
How do you feel about drinking a fruity beer though?
Yeah, well, when I say fruity, New England has like a tangy, almost citrusy sort of taste. It's not actually got fruit in it.
It just feel like fruity beers.
I don't like. See, it's flavoured beers. I don't mind a bit of fruit.
Andrew on the mic got a bone to pick real clear. Flavored beer on the rise, but it's not his cheer. On Brewgooders Cast, talking hops and malt, it's fierce. But Geoff slides in with a grin, waving those flavored beers. Oh, Andrew can't stand those fruity brews. Grain and hops should tell the truth.
I can't believe you got bowling for soup to do that.
Yeah.
Did you use AI? Generative AI?
Did use AI?
Is that you singing?
No, it's fucking. Oh, like I was watching the news last week, and they were talking about how easy it is to like fucking program it. And I was like, I can't be that easy. And then I watched another set of YouTubers who were rewriting wrestling theme tunes for their favorite wrestlers using AI, and I was like, I'm going to do it for us. And one was that was the best one. So
that was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was better than Andrew hates flavored beers.
That one, like the flavored beers one took far. The other one I did took like fucking years to make, whereas that one was like a 5-minute job. And I was like, actually, that's not that fair. So yeah, I love how like Skynet's going to kill us all, but it'll do it quite melodically. So
yeah, it's when I say I hate flavored beers, it's not so much a bit of fruit or a sort of thing like that. It's cake or chocolate or marshmallows or things like that. I'm going to say I was
speaking to somebody earlier this week who said exactly the same thing. They were like, I hate fruity beer. And I was like, is it fruity beer or is it like the marshmallow porter or the peanut butter IPA or that? I was like, because actually, like you say, Citra hops by their like Citra is named because it's citrus.
Certain fruits, citrusy, orangey or lemony or something like that tastes. There's a line, even some berries and things like that. But things like banana, and you know, that do not belong in a beer. And you know, just and you know, German biscuit flavour or custard cream or something like that. You know, it's the type of person that would go and have one of these vapes and have it flavoured like, you know, fucking Madeira cake or something like that. That's like when I was a boy, beer tasted like beer, fags tasted like fags, and there was no mucking about with this nonsense.
No, I'm glad your beer's nice, man.
It's a nice beer.
6.5% IPA is like the total. Like I was in Alice Goat a couple of weeks ago, and that was like the point. Like when I was in there, I was asked like because it's just wall to wall beer and it's massive. It's about 3 or 4 times the size of the Caledonian Craft Beer Merchant in terms of like floor space. It's just a big floor space. And I was asked like, you know, how do you pick what beers you like? And I'm like, well, actually, I'm just ignoring everything on that side because those are stouts, and I'm like sticking, you know, I want an IPA. So all of a sudden, like the whole shop gets slimmed right down to this shelf here. And I was like, and I like my beers to be between 6 and 6.5%. So like, I was like, that's how I'm doing it.
Filters.
That's a little like me when I go and if I want to go out buy a pair of trousers. It's like first of all, find the type of pairs of trousers that I like. Okay. Now I find the ones that can fit me. I can go into Primark where there are 10,000 pairs of trousers, and there's 7 pairs will fit me.
Yeah.
That's because you make
it's exactly that.
Yeah.
Beers are like trousers.
Beers are like trousers. You need to make sure that you can get your legs in them.
Try and turn that into a song, AI.
Yeah.
Stu, what are you drinking tonight, man?
I'm going for a NIPA as well. It's only a 5%, but you've got to love the name to it. It's
Monday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Making change.
From Winton Brewery.
Monday means I want to fight you right now.
Oh, yeah, it's got a description on the back. It's in one then. Definition: Scots. Challenge to fight. We'll help fight for this cure for Rett syndrome and bring hope to families affected by donating 10% of the profits per can sold.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
But I was when you were talking about percentages, this one's a 5%, so it's low for what you'd expect, like the normal NIPA to be.
Yeah, you're upper 5s, lower 6s, aren't you? Or up to 7s. Maybe. I find is it Tiny Rebel do they do a NIPA that's like 4.2, and you can really take it's the punchiness that dissipates a wee bit. I don't know if it's just
I've tried that one. Yeah, once you get a NIPA down to like under 5, it doesn't have that kind of
quite watery. I don't want to use that phrase because it's quite it feels quite condescending, but yeah, it can feel like watered down somewhat if it gets quite low.
If I'm going to drink an IPA under 5%, I'm going to drink something shit like Punk or something like that.
Yeah. We can drink Punk again now. Did you hear that?
I did. Yeah, I did. James, he's stepped down from being very popular guy. Obviously, he's like one of these aging rockers. It's like I'm still Punk, even though his company now is worth 400 million, boosted by private equity, and he went to Nigel Farage's birthday party. It's not very Punk, is it? So, but yeah, we wish him all the best in what comes next. Hopefully, prison.
How's your beer? Who's the brewery? Is it Winton Brewery? Did it say?
Yeah, Winton.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, I didn't either. I went on a caravan holiday 2 weeks ago, and my only access to beer was the co-op on the caravan site. So it was like those adverts. Well, in this case, it was craft breweries in your area. So I've done the search, and they were the closest one. That was 15 minutes from the caravan site. So I drove along and bought like one of each of their core range.
That's pretty cool.
So, I believe they're going to be at the Dundee Brewfest.
Oh, nice. Who else is going to be at Dundee Brewfest?
You.
Us, yeah.
There is a few. I think West, like from Glasgow.
Yeah.
West
I
Brewing.
was being asked about West the other day actually, because they're popping up in pubs all over Glasgow at the moment. West, and I-71 are going to be there. And
when is the Dundee Beer Fest?
It is. Oh, I was going to check just now because they I was on Facebook recently and they like earlier today and they
Saturday the 8th.
Yeah, Saturday the 8th of June. Almost 4 weeks. 8 craft breweries. They have 8 breweries.
You going up for the day or coming back at night time, or are you going up for the whole shebang?
I'm staying. I'm going to stay because it's going to be. We've been invited to support. We've been invited to run our podcast / do bits and bobs alongside the football, beer, and punk rock guys. But I'm looking at it. Not that California Brewing Company are going to be there. Culloch are going to be there. Tempest Brewing. One for the Road. The Edinburgh Discovery Beers, which I think are quite new. Wasn't Discovery Beers not open the last couple of years?
The bottle shop.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Discover. I don't know if there's went in. Obviously, you said St Andrews Brewing Company, Edinburgh Cider Company are going to be there, and I can't just read who the other ones are because they're right up at the top of the. I'll work that out. As apologies. But yeah, and there's like music and stuff playing as well, and obviously we're going to be there, and the football, beer, and punk rock podcast are going to be there too. So yeah, my friend Jamie, who is a host on that podcast, was telling me last year that he effectively, I messaged him and I was like, "Oh, how did you get on last year? Like, we've been asked to help out alongside you guys this year," and he was like, "I just got drunk and shouted at folk." He's like, "That's all I did for all day." Like, "Do you like football?" "No." "All right, never mind." It's like, "What team do you support?" It's just like, is that okay? Fair enough, man. But yeah, that'll be good. The 8th of June, there's 2 sessions. There's a 12 till 4 and let's head up there then.
If I've nothing on, I might go up for the day session. Get the bus up. You can get the bus. Because the bus goes direct from Rosyth these days.
Yeah. So 12 till half 4 and then half 5 till 10.
Because I'm doing a 5k run in the afternoon at Stuart Brewing. So once I'm doing that, then I'm going to hop a train from Edinburgh across to Dundee.
No worries, man. It's quite close to it's in Bonner, so it's Bonner Hall, so it's quite close to the train station. You can walk in like 10-15 minutes. So
I think
excited for that.
The stars should align.
I think we've been invited to, as part of, I got asked if we would run a pub quiz. So obviously I did what every self-respecting guy that wants to run a pub quiz did and went online and downloaded one. So it's like there. I'm going to use it as the baseline for the quiz, like for the picture round and shit. But then I'm going to make our own questions, like and try and make them beer, football, wrestling, fucking all the random shit that we cover on this show.
Dundee's a big gaming town and a big manga supporting town. I think Raycon.
Yeah, Raycon's there, isn't it? Yeah.
So,
and jam and journalism, and their comics, obviously.
Ur Willie and stuff like that comes way up there as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, DC Thompson are based up there. Yeah, that'll be good. I'm excited. It's one of those things that I keep forgetting is happening, and then I remind myself and shit myself a wee bit. But it's be quite good. It'll be exciting. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I am drinking. I got this called 188 DD. I was wondering if Stu could tell me or I said DDH Pale Ale.
Double dry.
Oh, who's Echo?
It's not me.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Hello.
Well, that was good.
Hello.
Yo.
It's Andrew. It's Andrew.
Can't be me, surely.
No, stop now. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. So a double dry hopped pale ale called 118. It's brewed by Numbers, who are a London-based brewery, and it was part of the last month's London Underground themed beer 52 box. Which is good. I'm just working my way through there just now. But it's It's a 5.4. So now that you've said it's a double dry hopped, it is quite dry. Like I've noticed it, but hoppy, smooth, hazy, citra, and simcoe. Just nice.
I got an email today from, I think it was Untapped, saying I was going to get the London beer box for free. And it's like, it's never for free because I have to sign up. And then, okay, maybe I have to pay a £5 postage. And then it's the 2 weeks of trying to get out of it before you charge me again. It's never free. Stop saying that.
Well, I got the box this month, which I've not worked my way through yet. I opened it up to give Claire the snacks, but it came with a Father's Day card this month. That's like you give this card to your friend and they get £27 worth of free beers. But then, so I gave it to my mate Steve. But as I was giving it to him, I was like, "You now need to make sure this is how Beer 52 works. Okay, they're going to give you free beer, but then they're going to avoid all your phone calls for the next month when you try and cancel it, and then £27 will come out of your account next month, and then they'll answer the phone."
See, the way there's a great way now you can get around them. A lot of credit cards will do this for you. I've got a Revolut card that I use for holidays. That if they do the thing where you set it up with a voucher, and they take £1, then give you the £1 back just to thing it, and that sets up the recurring payment on your card. You can go into your Revolut then and cancel the recurring payment, so they're not allowed to take any money out. And then they have to contact you because they can't process the payment, so they send you an email. And I responded to the email saying, "Yeah, I didn't want it anymore." And they're like, "You have to phone to cancel." So I told them I was deaf. Have I already told this story on here?
No.
I emailed them back saying, "I cannot phone you. I'm actually deaf." Which should really use somebody's disability against them.
You'll have James at Beer 52 going, "I fucking knew it."
No, it's James as well, isn't it? James that sends the emails to you.
I keep on getting family keep on giving me these on my birthday, and I'll get a Beer 52 card. So you like beer, don't you? And I'm like, I've got two case, a case of Beer 52 cards up the stairs that I got at Christmas, and I just didn't use them.
They're all right. I cancelled mine.
We're giving away the competition prize.
I've had they're okay for a couple of months, but then a combination of not drinking that much beer and them just being it being so expensive, it becomes unsustainable after about 2 or 3 months. It's nice to get. It's nice to build up
I ended up with 50 cans in the house at one point, and that was even I was giving away. Colin would take all the shit, all the flavoured porters and stuff like that, and the custard flavoured stuff and stuff like that. So you even giving that stuff away, and I ended up last time we went to Thought Bubble.
Well, you brought a case down with you for Thought Bubble.
I brought a case of beer down so that we could have something to drink on the Saturday night. I still had loads, so I'll never get one of them again. I'll never. Every now and again, I'll just set up a new account with a new name so that I can use one of those cards.
They don't like the same address either, though. Me and Claire tried it a couple of months ago when I reset up my account. Claire tried to do the same, and she's like, because she got the same email, it was like, "I'll do it as well," and it means you've got 16 beers for free.
Yeah,
and then we'll just cancel. We'll cancel, and they were like, but they phoned Claire and were like, "We noticed that you've got the same address as this account holder." It's just like, oh, fuck.
You'd be flat shit. That's all.
Yeah, I fucking hate them. Yeah. Actually, you're bringing up some really challenging thoughts about our current living arrangements. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Aye. Moving swiftly on that side. It's all good. How are we doing for comics this week? I admittedly haven't read anything. I did want to bring up very quickly that it was Free Comic Book Day last week, and John absolutely smashed it in Little Shop of Heroes. From what I'm led to believe, he told us in the group chat it went really, really well. I know that, and obviously Sonny went down, and I didn't realize Sonny went down with Claire because I was away in Glasgow, and Claire said they had to wait like 45 minutes. Like,
yeah, really. I know there was a queue out front. I seen that the Albie put up a picture. There was a queue when they got, which is great. It's great for local shops to be doing well.
It was good. She was like, they were there and they'd booked their lunch at the Old Inn just across the road, and we're like, we're late for their lunch, just waiting, because John was busy, which is what you want to hear, isn't it? You know, and so he got his photo done. So he got his photo with John, which he was so buzzing for, and I think it's probably one of our more liked photographs on our Facebook page. And he got he was so buzzing about this. He got a Ratchet trading card, which is fucking
nice.
His favorite thing ever. And he got Spider Ham.
Nice. Who did that? That's quite talented. Where did John
they're
get
all
these?
quite good. It's by JB. And Tom Holland Spider-Man, which I was reliably informed by Sonny. John will have to. Well, actually, I said Ratchet. It is Wheeljack. Sorry, John. And that's Tom Holland, isn't it? That's the Tom Holland Spider-Man costume.
With the black, I think. Yes, I think so.
Yeah, it's the one. If I'm not, So, but yeah, and you got some free comics. He bought that. So he got that. He was like, "Dad, I got this signed," and very nice. John signed it for him. So he was so buzzing that he got a signed piece of art, and he Inner John Universe, and I think it's quite cool because these are issue ones of current runs. Is that right? They do that quite a lot during Free Comic Day, Andrew? Like,
yeah, they do. They do. If you've got current runs, they'll try and get you issue one, or if there's a few couple of years ago it was Lady Mechanica and stuff like this. So they put issue one out, and then they advertise the trade versions are now out for the first 6 issues and things like that. So I mean it's it's stuff for free, but they're trying to sell stuff as well.
Yeah, of course. So it was buzzing because like I haven't had the heart. Haven't had the heart to tell him, but the back of this when he was telling me on the phone that he got these free comics, he'd got this Energon one, the Energon Universe 2014 special, because it's got the grade. It's got is it the CDC thing in the back?
Yeah.
So they thought that was the grading for this actual comic book. So he's like, I got a 9.8 CGC comic, Dad. Like, great. That's well done, you, man. So
they have to be wrapped in actual plastic. That's an actual 9.8.
I know. The guy.
I know. They do. There is guys they make key rings and stuff like this that look like wee CGC ones, which are pretty cool.
You see them at cons quite a lot, don't you? The CGC.
Yeah, I can help myself sometimes. I've got to buy. What did I get? I got some last year. I can't remember what I got. It was James Tinian. So I got him to sign them. Nice house on the lake, possibly.
Yeah.
But they do look nice. They're every collector should have at least one graded comic in their collection.
Yeah. I don't. I'll get one.
I'll give you one for Christmas. I've got loads.
Yes, that's basically my comic stuff. Little Shopper Hero smashed it. John smashed it, and Sonny was a very happy wee guy at the end of Saturday. So that's cool. That's what's about it.
Cool.
What have you guys been reading?
Again. Now and again, I'm going through my book. Just be talking about Wheeljack there. This is one of my absolute all-time favourite books because you've got the 2 big names. The Optimus Prime that everyone knows about, and then the real hero this country needs.
Robert Stack,
the Ultra Magnus, by my personal friend Simon Furman, personal friend and friend of the podcast, I believe. Was it? We had Simon Furman on, didn't we?
Was it? Did we? Was it? I don't think we had. Was it Simon we had on? I can't remember.
I thought it was Simon Furman. Maybe not.
We had from. I'm trying to think. We had from the trans. We possibly did. I just missed that week. We definitely had. Is it Andy? Oh, I have to go back. We've 214 episodes, man. Andy Wildman was on, and he was.
Andy Wildman was on. Simon Furman's the artist. Simon Furman's the writer. It was Andy Wildman. You're right.
Andy Weldon did not recognise me when I went to spoke to him. We interviewed him on the show. You and me interviewed him, and then I went and spoke to him at the thought bubble of that year, and he was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't remember you, man." I was like, "Before the Brewgooders, we interviewed you like 4 months ago," and he was like, "All right, okay."
Maybe he just does a lot of podcasts, because we're not.
Maybe, and that's totally legit. And he was. I remember that being one of my favorite podcasts because we talked a lot about his work in the Transformers, but his work in Doctor Who and that as well. So I think it was a really good wee podcast.
You forget, because these people do podcasts and they do things and stuff like this, you have this thing where it's a much bigger deal for you. Like, it was a much bigger deal for me to speak to him than it was for him to speak to me. I remember going, last year at Thought Bubble, going up to speak to Torrin Grunbeck. And it was like, "Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah." And I'm fairly sure she had absolutely no idea who I was. Despite the fact that we'd spoke to her, we'd sat next to her at a convention, we'd spent a couple of days chatting to her and things like this. But she speaks to hundreds of people, or dozens of people every single week, and Andy Wellman would be the same. So it's a much bigger deal.
Yeah, it was the same with Charlie Adler last year, actually. Very similar. Yeah. Right, I'm going to drop it for just 30 seconds. I'll see.
Okay. Sure. What have you been reading anything or?
I haven't. No, I've been wanting to kind of sit and reread Mick Foley's autobiography. Have a Nice Day. I bought it last year and it's just sat on the shelf. And I'm going to go to one of those Comic Cons in October that he's attending. But I want to sit and read through the book again, just to kind of properly hype myself up for it. Then I'll actually feel better about handing it to him to sign.
Because I'll ask you, what was your favourite bit? Who's your favourite character? Who's your favourite Foley character? Obviously, Mankind, but of the other two, of Cactus Jack and nobody's favourite is Cactus Jack. Come on.
The 2000 Royal Rumble against Triple H, when he was out as Cactus Jack. Yeah, and that's where it wrestling clicked for me, and I couldn't go back. But yeah,
I think he was one of those guys that there was a golden era. Like, anybody who knows wrestling for me knows that I didn't really watch it, and I haven't since Stone Cold Steve Austin retired. But there was that kind of golden era where it was Stone Cold, Triple H, Mankind, and The Rock. Were kind of the mainstay. They were the four sort of big names.
Pillars of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, and that's it. And you had on a Friday you would watch the New Age Outlaws and things like that. And it was just a great time for wrestling at the time. And I think when these guys went, I always thought that there wasn't the same level of, I could never get into John Cena or any of these.
It was a tough job.
Aye,
but. Yeah, aye.
There's always golden eras. People, depending on when you start, people will say about the 80s. They'll talk about the Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan as being the thing. Yet. And kids that are going about now, like you say, my son loved. Oh God, what was his name? I think I've got him as a pop toy somewhere here.
Not John Cena.
It wasn't John Cena. No, it's. I didn't have it. I must have found it. It was God, what's the guy's name? He's got a black beard. Is he maybe like related to Jason Momoa or something like that?
Oh, Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, that was the very chap. He's Jason Momoa's cousin or something like that.
No, he's The Rock's cousin.
The Rock's cousin. There you go. I kid us. One of those Samoan boys.
Exactly.
Although I don't actually know if Jason Momoa is Samoan. You just sound Samoan. Samoa.
Jason Momoa not. He's not New Zealand.
Hawaiian. Is he New
Zealand?
I don't know.
I was thought he's from Barnsley.
I'm horribly
Barnsley.
Like, We just chatted wrestling while you were away, mate, just to keep things going.
We kind of hate that stuff. So.
Why you left it?
Morse code from your fridge.
Yeah, I left my fridge open.
That was like an interstellar moment. Matthew McConaughey trying to talk to you there.
Give me 2 more minutes. I'm making Sonny's tea.
John's mentioned his golden era of wrestling as well with Big Daddy. I don't remember that.
Before all
Giant Hastings and the first major wrestling British person who made it abroad was Danny Boy Smith, is what they were called over here. And then he went over and became one half of the British Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And then he was the actual British Bulldog.
Mhm.
I think when the tag team collapsed for some reason, I don't know. I'm assuming one of them was arrested or
Yeah, the rock and roll lifestyle that comes with wrestling usually comes back and bites them.
steroids and stuff like that. Just,
Yep.
you either go mental or you die. I think he died, didn't he? The British Bulldog.
British
He
Bulldog.
died.
Yeah. I'm not sure how he died, but he did come back and he was like he was drunk whilst like wrestling and doing promos, and he was drunk and it was just like, aye. And I think they quickly cut ties with him and then probably dead in a hotel room. But
Oh, jeez.
I wouldn't take that as like verbatim, but
Gospel. No.
exactly.
I know.
I've watched enough of the Dark Side of the Ring to know that there's a high percentage of the wrestling lifestyle sometimes ends up dead in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I know the greatest, the genuine, and I've heard this argument with Geoff as well, but the actual greatest wrestler of all time, the guy who genuinely could have beaten every single other wrestler wrestling at the time, if it hadn't been sort of staged to not make him allow, was Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
And he actually died in a hotel room, but obviously he had, his heart was enlarged and he could hardly move by the time he was that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There's an Andre the Giant biography on Netflix which I watched, which was brilliant. They talked about sometimes
really well done.
He would get drunk, like he could drink 30 pints and 2 bottles of something, and sometimes he would just collapse in a hotel foyer or a lobby or the bar, and they just had to leave him. It's like there's not enough men in the world to sort of lift him and get him into up 2 flights of stairs. So they would just throw blankets over him till the morning, and when he would wake up and be bright as a button.
Dude was larger than life.
He was. He's a great guy. He seemed like a good guy as well. That was the thing that they did about him. He's memories of him come from the wrestling, but also from the Princess Bride, that he was absolutely brilliant in. And yeah, it's just like I say, there was these larger than life characters. And what have we got now? John Cena. And actually, I don't know if I could name another. Like they've had to bring back The Rock and stuff like that to make it more interesting again, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done their stint. I think they've gotten their WrestleMania payday, and then that's them gone.
It's because there's nobody interested now. Who's the world champion now? Is it Dan Bland? And
actually, I think you'll find that wrestling's in a bit of a fucking, like, at least the WWE are like it's on the rise again at the moment, isn't it? It's going through a bit of a renaissance.
Who's bringing it back? Who's like they can bring it back briefly.
It's just Triple H.
It's just like what you said. Like Roman Reigns has been the figurehead for like the last few years.
Is it?
Like I feel like possibly like one of the longest title reigns. Like he won it from like back in COVID, and he just lost it like 2 months ago. And
Big Papa H is doing all the handwriting in that, isn't he? He's booking it and he's building it up in the backstage now. Big Triple H, and he's doing an amazing job.
Vince McMahon has been forcefully removed, and they've changed the looks, and they're now taking it a different direction.
It looks good. It looks good. It's sprayed well. They just did a show in France last week that me and Stu watched.
That was amazing.
Yeah, like the first live event of that kind in France, and I've never known such a crazy crowd. And like at the point that Stu was sending me on Facebook, he was sending me because all their chants were in French. So like you were watching it going like they're really loud, but I have no idea what any of them are saying. And then there was a whole Reddit feed of like all the different.
Some French person translated all the football chants for us.
Which
that was it.
We need to get sorted for Euros next month. Like actually,
it's just the fact that the crowd took over the show.
Yeah, it was good though. I enjoyed it.
I'm glad it's having a renaissance, but I say it. I'm not convinced. I'm not renewing my Sky package in order to get it. I don't know if it's still on Sky.
Well, don't worry. What's it? Come January, it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Oh, I've cancelled Netflix either. I did a marvelous
preparation for the rest of the day.
I did a marvelous article after watching a YouTube video about something called enshittification. I don't know if you've heard of the phrase. It basically talks about Netflix is a prime example, and so is Amazon Prime and stuff like that. It's about how these companies like change everything, like Brewpunk or Netflix or something like that, and they're amazing. And at the start, the service is brilliant and the quality is brilliant and it's cheap and stuff like this. And then just gradually over time, it just becomes shit as they sort of move away from their initial, everything for $4.99. Now it's everything for $7.99 if you want to watch adverts. And now it's apparently not even that. It's $7.99 if you want to watch adverts. But you can't watch everything. And shittification. So my Netflix has been cancelled along with my Prime.
But there's a competition required now. Like, obviously, I remember getting Sky when I was younger, and it'd been like amazing because we get everything. You're still getting the normal telly, but we're getting Sky as well. So you were getting the rest of everything. And the whole thing about Sky was it was pulling in all the shows from the States. Whereas now it's like, because all the big studios, all the big streaming studios are competing. You're paying. I remember being cancelling my Sky and just getting Netflix years ago, thinking this is fucking brilliant. But now it's like, obviously,
you've got to have Netflix.
Unless you're like really clever, you do like your month of Apple when the new season of Ted Lasso comes out, and then you cancel it, and then you jump over to Amazon when Fallout comes out, and then you cancel it, and then you know what I mean. But like, if you wanted to catch everything new that comes out as it comes out, you need to you'd be paid for the same amount that you'd be paid for Sky. It'd be like £30 to get like, if you wanted like all the major ones, and then there's new ones that come out all the time. So.
Yeah, when I first got Sky, which was back in sort of late 80s, early 90s, Sky was £20 a month. There was only 5 channels. It was just, it was Sky Sports, Sky News, Sky Movies, Sky One, and MTV. And then they gradually added all the sort of Dave and, UK TV Gold and things like this. That was £20 a month, and people were like, I didn't mind paying £20 a month for the sport and things like this, and you got Eurosport for free. But now Sky's like £100 a month and things like that. If you want everything. And then on top of that, if you for certain things, if you want a Disney thing, you have to pay Disney, you have to pay Amazon, you have to pay Netflix. If you want to watch Dead Boy Detectives, which I watched this week, which was pretty good, you have to pay that £10 a month. If you want to watch Fallout, you have to pay £10 a month. If you want to watch something on Apple TV, it's £10 a month. Paramount more, just like it's just too much.
Yeah. That's pretty brutal. What have folk been watching this week, TV wise and movie wise and all that jazz?
Aforementioned Dead Boy Detectives. I've been watching. I watched the second 2 seasons of Alex Rider because I'd forgot that season 2 had come out last year. But yeah, Dead Boy Detectives is pretty good. They've tied in quite nicely with the Sandman universe. The actors, characters that are in it are pretty good. I liked it. So
I quite fancy it. I haven't finished Sandman yet though, so I'm like, I need to get that done before I jump into Dead Boy Detectives. But yeah, I've heard it's Netflix as well, isn't it? So I've heard they've done a really good job.
Yeah, I don't actually have Netflix. I go around to my friend's house to watch it. That's how I get Netflix.
Fair enough. Fair enough. But what have you been watching, Stu? What have you caught this week?
I finished Fallout. It's been taking me ages. Then we had like a Sunday afternoon, and we just watched like the last 4 episodes back to back. Got done with it, and then it's just been a whole bunch of old movies. But no, I'm really, really chuffed with how well Fallout turned out. For just like being like a big fan of the games, and it being a nice mixture of references to the games, but still being like an original story and like interesting characters.
Yeah.
So
I'm halfway through now. I just finished episode 5, and I can hold my hands up, and I didn't play Fallout, and I don't really know why. It's very much into Skyrim, and I know it's the same studio, but just never caught Fallout, and now I'm like, actually, because I've got an old Xbox 360. I'm like, I can go back and try that now. So I'm actually quite excited to go back and having no knowledge of Fallout and being just starting at the beginning, like I did with Uncharted.
Fallout 3
start with
New Vegas.
Start with 3 or New Vegas.
Aye.
New Vegas is probably the best standalone one. You get into it nice and easy. You've got, you didn't have to go through all the getting out of your vault stuff at the beginning. But New Vegas is brilliant. Hopefully they talked about they're going to bring New Vegas in the second season, aren't they? Did I see something about that? It's canon. I think it's what's I like about them.
Yes,
is that
it is canon.
Things are within the same universe.
It's definitely something like, yes, let's just say it's canon without spoiling it.
I was going to ask that. Like, I haven't played the game, so I didn't know if the characters in the TV show are characters that have featured in the game, or it's like an elsewhere aspect of the same world or that. But yeah,
I think there's one character who is in one of the games.
Yeah. Cool.
I've only seen a couple of episodes, so I'm not sure beyond that. But that's the game. That's the character that appears at. Yeah, you know what I mean, don't you?
Yeah. I look forward to playing the game and finding it in reverse of everyone else. Yeah. So,
start with 3. I think these games peaked a wee bit at 3, similar to Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion, and Fallout 3 around about the same sort of period, back when they could still make a game in less than 2 years.
Yeah, I've been watching.
Beyond that, they become more complicated and longer games, like Skyrim and Fallout 4 were just so long. Like nobody's completed Skyrim or Fallout 4, have they? Tell the truth, guys.
I think folk are still finding things in Skyrim like 10 years later, aren't they? Like,
I've completed Skyrim twice.
The main quest line, everything. You're talking about.
I don't know, and game. I went back. Like, I'll buy the game when it comes out, play through it all, complete it. Then they release Game of the Year edition with all the DLC, and then I'll buy it again and realize I've deleted all my save data to make room for something else. So I have to go through it all again and then all the DLC. Glutton for punishment.
I did that with Cyberpunk recently. I bought the DLC, the
Liberty, the Idris Elba stuff.
Yeah. And then went to load it up and then play it, and then realised that I didn't. I hadn't saved my games because I've not got enough space on my hard drive. So you can go direct to it, but I'd lost all my equipment and all my skills and things like this, and it was almost like starting from scratch again. So,
It's funny what you're saying about. I've been watching one of my favorite YouTubers are Triple Jump, who are like a computer game list company basically, and they list things, and they do these big. Every so often they do these big, like 2-3 hour like listing videos, and the last week they released 101 biggest moments in video gaming. So like just events that happened. So like the release of the Wii would be an example, and they talk. One of the entries was about Fallout. Is it Fallout 74? Is that the name of the game?
Just
that release being the beginning of the end for that company, and just being like, oh, what the fuck have they done? Like, just
it was a flawed release, definitely. It was not great and not thingy at the time. And then Starfield is what they followed it up with, which I found pretty boring. I bought an Xbox specifically to play that game and found it pretty boring. So here's the thing I was watching last night though, and I think somebody's came on saying that they've just finished Skyrim the VR. I can't get into it.
She's also Skyrim.
Yeah, I've got a VR headset, but it's not a PlayStation one. It's like a Meta Quest one, and so I don't know how many games. I just can't get into VR gaming. But I was watching a video last night about the. It's one of those ones that shows you the best-selling video game in the world since 1950, and it's like they take over all these people into it. And the top 2 video games in the world are my youngest son's favourite 2 games ever. And I was quite surprised by both of them as being the top 2 best-selling games in the world ever. Can you guess them? Go.
One will be Minecraft.
One is Minecraft, by a long way.
Yeah. And, I mean, the other obvious choices would be Fortnite and Roblox, but they were free to play. It's just all the add-ons you have to pay for.
GTA 5.
GTA 5, well done.
Mm.
It was GTA 5
Yes.
was number 2. I think
I was going to
Tetris
say
was
that, or I
three.
was going to say World of Warcraft, but I think that you can get a free-to-play version of that as well. which
Yeah,
is
it's free to play. This was for units sold. So I think Minecraft was like 150 million units. GTA 5, it's like Skyrim, isn't it? They keep on re-releasing it on different formats. Like Skyrim, you can play on Wii now and phones, and that just basically everything.
we haven't had a Grand Theft Auto 6 yet. They just keep updating Grand Theft Auto 5 with like new, like on GTA Online.
Yeah, because that's got like a big online presence as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's another. If you've got a couple of hours on YouTube, go in and there's people who actually play GTA roleplay. So they go in, they create their character, and then they play as the character. So they play as like policemen and stop people for speeding, and you can hear them talking. Going, do you know what kind of speed you were doing there, sir? And then the guys just like punch them and jump in the car. It's really quite funny.
I love that.
So yeah, it's a community, man. It's a community. Go
and play Grand Theft Auto and obeying the law.
Sorry, mate.
So playing Grand Theft Auto and obeying the law.
I am though.
Stopping at red lights.
GTA 6 the same time as we get the next Elder Scrolls. I think that's they teased that 5 years ago or something like that. No, that Todd, what's his face? He's the biggest liar in video games. That Todd, what's his name? Todd Bunker.
That 101 moments in gaming thing I was talking about, like there was so many of them are just like failed launches and like E3 embarrassments and shit like that. And Todd Howard, Anderson, there you go.
Todd Howard, that's the guy. I can't remember his name. I know he's Todd something. He always thought this is going to be the greatest game ever, and they hyped it, and I bought into it for Starfield for 8 years, and then it came out, and it was just like, this is bland. This is not as good as No Man's Sky or Elite Dangerous. And desperately tries to be the only bigger liar than him is probably the guy that's been, making Star Citizen, which has been in beta for 24 years now or something like that. The launches PUBG, no PUBG.
Oh yeah,
PUBG was aye,
wasn't it?
That was going to be a massive thing, and they put loads of money into it, and then Fortnite came in and just blew it out of the water, didn't it? Because it was just more playable and more fun.
It seemed to be you were playing one or the other. Like at the time, they were huge.
Yeah, I did keep playing. Listen, Anna, I did keep playing No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is an absolutely phenomenal game. I bought it at when it came out, and like Fallout 76. The game was massively flawed and hugely empty when it first came out. But that's a perfect example of what you should do with games like that, because they have put add-ons and expansions to it basically every few months since then. And it just gets better and better all the time. It's an amazing game.
Fucking nerds. I moved on to Werewolf Beer. A Cascadian Dark Ale by an American brewery.
Is that the Cascade Mountains? That's in North America somewhere.
We make classic US craft beer styles that are balanced, bitter, and clear straight from Camden Town through the twisted lens of authentic American rock horror drive-ins, country cars, and grub. We were born in the USA, but our flavour, quality, and fun are for there to enjoy. A wild American helped establish, so it's Camden, but a wild American helped establish Camden Town Station and underground we all know today. In honour of Charles Titan Yerkes, we bring you a black IPA from the USA. So the brewery is called Werewolf Beer, and it's an homage to Camden Town Station. It's dark as fuck. Look at that.
Dark. It's like a porter almost. I've moved on to Moyersleutl.
Oh, nice.
Another beer engineers.
That looks like a fucking Fallout thing on the front, eh?
Does it? It's like even my beer has tools on it.
Yeah.
It's a very, very similar looking hazy IPA. Beautiful.
Have you done another beer yet, Stu? Or are you still?
No, I've finished. I think I might just behave and have one.
Okay.
Can you do it?
Fair enough, man.
I can't have one beer. It's just.
I think I'll stop.
It's easier for me because the fridge is downstairs.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I've got a fridge in my wee room here. I've got a wee beer fridge. That's the secret.
And we all know that Geoff records from his fridge, so.
And Geoff basically lives in it. I think once he moves into that van, he'll have a fridge under his bed, under his seat.
Oh yeah. My new flat will be built around like how Thursday night should be recorded. I've been watching Fallout as well. Really good, really enjoying it, and I'm loving it despite the fact I've never played any of the games. So I'm missing any of the I'm missing a lot of the in jokes that I think exists. My son Sean's been watching it as well, and he was saying that like the product placement of fictional like stuff and that is quite.
Yeah.
What's the cola called, for example?
Nuka Cola.
Yeah, just stuff like that, which I thought was a Dave Cook thing, not a Fallout thing. So I was like, oh, okay.
Do you know if you want to play games, if you know that if you didn't play that type of game, grab yourself Fallout 2. It's like an RPG game. It's more like a point and click, like a very early Baldur's Gate type thing. But the weapon system is very slow, so it's like a turn based. A lot of people swear by it. Like I know a couple of guys who think that was the epitome of Fallout. That's when they peaked before they went into first.
I'm ready to give it all, but like I do enjoy computer games. I haven't spent that long doing it, and so like I'm going through a wee phase of like I when me and Colin were doing that Toy Con in Glasgow at the Willy Wonka place last month, I grabbed Fable 2 and Oblivion, and I'm like, I'm just going to play these. So it was like £4 for both games. That was great. Can't really argue with that, can you?
No.
So I went to the cinema on Monday with Sonny to see the 25th anniversary of a movie. So I want you to imagine that you've waited 16 years for the first piece of official canon media of your favorite sci-fi franchise, and it finally starts, and you're expecting the most exciting, most amazing beginning to any series, and you're left with the idea that there's turmoil engulfing the Galactic Republic, and that the taxation of trade routes to outlying star systems is in dispute. Why did they think that was the fucking best way to start a new Star Wars movie?
I feel you, mate, because I was there. I was actually there, not like 16 years later or 20 years later, or however long it's been, but actually when it came out. And I'll not pretend to have done this line, but I don't know if there's a movie called Fanboys. I don't know if you've seen that. And the last line of that movie is when they finally get into to see the Phantom Menace, and one of them sort of, it's like they've been waiting for this for 20 years, and one of them turns to the other one and goes, "What if it's rubbish?" And that's the final line sort of that movie. That's Jesus. What a disappointment! You paid money to go and see it on the big screen.
So it's the 21st anniversary of episode 25th anniversary. It came out. I've been reliably informed late May 1999. So what a year 1999 was for cinema? Because if I stand correct, I think Fight Club and fucking Matrix came out in 1999 as well, amongst many other amazing movies. But those are the ones that come to mind. 1999, great year.
Fight Club is based on a book by Chuck Palahniuk, which is a brilliant book, brilliant movie, one of my favourite movies of all time. I don't think we can say, what a year for movies. Fight Club came out, and The Phantom Menace. Really?
There's loads of other good movies. And so Fight Club, best movies of 2099. Toy Story 2 came out in 1999. The Iron Giant, the South Park movie, The Matrix, The Mummy, Blair Witch Project, Sixth Sense, Girl Interrupted, Talented Mr. Ripley. This is me just listing films I haven't googled it. American Beauty, 10 Things I Hate About You, The Green Mile, Office Space. Some fucking quality movies came out in 1999. And then obviously so did episode And the fan is. We've been told to tread carefully because I've already had quite a long argument about this week, right? I wanted to point out, and the last time I mentioned this, I got shot down quite ceremoniously. The first, if you're going to watch Star Wars in order, right, with what in like the George Lucas intended order, start with episode 1 and going through, right, and so that I think the new series, because I checked when I was having this argument earlier this week, the new series that's about to come on Disney Plus is going to predate episode 1. Okay. But as it stands, Star Wars Episode 1 is the canon first taste of the Star Wars universe. Does that make sense? So we all know that like episode in Star Wars, which is now called A New Hope, episode 4 was the first Star Wars that we all saw. But if you're going to go by like George Lucas's intended canon and viewing order, episode 1 is the first thing you should watch. First 2 lines by Jedi, so who are like the monks, warrior monks, super fucking awesome like sect of like warriors that are supposed to be the best of the best. First 2 lines by the Jedi's spoken. I have a bad feeling about this. I don't sense anything. Cheers, Qui-Gon. Like you're fucking useless too. Like, I've since been told that Qui-Gon is like standalone, like top tier Jedi. He's like the only Jedi that actually gets what's going on until Luke Skywalker in some of the extended fiction. But Qui-Gon is the only Jedi that behaves with like any sort of fucking.
I don't know. I think
I just think he's just fucking ineffectual, and what he does is like he bets everything on like a wee boy winning a race. He gets stabbed by a Sith, and he has to endure us by explaining to us that the Force isn't this mystical fucking spirit that like permeates through the universe and is magical. It's fucking little bugs in your blood.
Midichlorians, they're. I mean, even if you forgive everything else, if you forgive Jar Jar, if you forgive everything, midichlorians. Fuck off, George Lucas.
Just it's demysticizing everything, and I think that's the issue with. It's probably not even the issue with Star Wars. I actually found
space magic, don't you?
You want it to be space magic. Yeah. It's just space magic. No, I understand it's not just Star Wars that are guilty of this, and not just George Lucas. You know, good old like our Lord and Savior Ridley Scott has kind of ruined it with what's happened in like the Alien franchise. I was quite happy with the space jockey just being the space jockey and that being it. You know, I didn't need to know where that spaceship came from. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I just feel like episode one's a really funny experience to if you rewatch it now. I'm going to fire this up before I go on my wee rant. Colin's telling me to embrace our inner child. This is the same Colin Maxwell that every time we put any trailer in the group chat says this is for kids. I won't be watching it. So
yeah, no, Colin doesn't. He's a big fan. He's a big fan of Star Wars. So I think I've seen him as Jar Jar.
His inner child is buried at the bottom of the garden.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I will to jump on what Colin's saying there though a bit about embracing our inner child. Actually, Jaja isn't as annoying as I remember him being. I think I was 12 or 13 when episode 1 came out, so I was peak fucking hate Jaja. Like I wasn't old enough to laugh at him, and I wasn't young enough to laugh with him. I was just of an age where I could be annoyed at him, which I think is like everybody from like 13 to 27 or whatever. He isn't as annoying as I remember him, and Sonny thought he was fucking hilarious. So actually, yeah, fair enough. And the other thing that got me is the wee boy's not as annoying as I thought he was. I remember the wee boy playing Anakin to be fucking brutal when I saw that when I was younger. And actually, he's all right. He's not. Considering he's been given some really, really dire lines to read and to do, like he does.
Yeah, but they're going into too much detail. That's a truly horrible story. He was panned by critics, attacked, everything like that, and he ended up with serious mental health problems. And he's still, you know, he isn't in a very good situation to this day, if I'm right, because of what they did to him. And basically, yeah, I mean, he acts like he's a 9-year-old guy. Laddie, acting like a 9-year-old laddie would act.
Yeah.
You know, he's actually
all right. So, I think the best scene, one of my favorite scenes in the whole film is when he has to say bye to his mum because it's so fucking heart wrenching, and you realize that like actually, I found that scene really hard to watch. Just Qui-Gon just walking away and leaving him to like say goodbye to his mum, and that whole thing about like being able to buy the mum out of slavery, buy him out of slavery, but not his mum. I found really quite like that was probably the only thing I was like, why there's not enough being made about like the fact that his mum's still in slavery and that they could just fly to Naboo. He's fucking his best pal's now a princess. His future wife's a princess.
They're with an actual princess who surely can afford to buy a slave from a backwater planet like Tatooine.
Yeah, we'll be back in 20 minutes once we've got the fucking Star Drive repaired. You know,
we'll get the money. No, we have to leave you forever. Bye.
We'll get the money once we've sorted out the fucking taxation issues and the galactic fucking trade empire. You know. But no, that was other than that good. And they've updated bits and pieces of the film as well. So like the pod racer scene, which is brilliant anyway, is a couple minutes longer and stuff like that.
Oh so yeah, that scene needed to be longer. The pod racing scene.
Yeah. I forgot that Greg Proops was one of the commentators.
From Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, it's Greg Proops and I think another guy from Whose Line Is It Anyway. But I forgot, and then as soon as he starts speaking, I was like, "Oh fuck! I forgot Greg Proops was the voice of this guy." Yeah. So it's like I was quite chuffed by that.
I think this movie had so many problems. You know, Anakin.
Yeah, it's very problematic movie.
Ewan McGregor's haircut. These stupid wee fucking rat tail thing that they had going on. What's that all about?
We cut it, didn't he? He cut it afterwards for something else, and then had to do reshoots. So he's wearing a wig. There's a couple of scenes where he's having to like film it in a wig, and it's like his hairline like shifts constantly. It's brilliant. It's like a character in itself.
So you're gonna. I know you came on with this idea about doing a top 10 for Star Wars. Where for you? Treading carefully, as we said. Where does this sit in the?
Well, I want to do this video, so I don't want to spoil it. So I want to do a video where, if I can get us, and I would get obviously Colin's like our like local Star Wars like super fan. I would like to get us around the table, and I would like us just to like a round table, get some beers there, give us all a whiteboard, and go right. We're going to start at 10 and work our way down to 1, and I want you to rate your top 10 favorite pieces of Star Wars, whether it be like The Mandalorian or any of the films or any of the like spin-off movies or the computer games, and let's just work it down and give everything a number. So everything that got voted 10th gets a point. Everything that gets voted 9th gets 2 points per vote.
But and then
we'll add them all up at the end. And mathematically work out what the best Star Wars is according to the
sounds like a big spreadsheet.
Yeah, and I fucking love a spreadsheet. That's why probably what I'm doing.
There's the books that they said was canon, and then they threw away when
I know that.
Making the new movies. You know, the whole expanded universe by Timothy Zahn and you know, they introduced Thrawn and things like that.
Colin asked when did the Brewgooders become Old Men Rant? Like, I think we've been Old Men Rant since.
When I arrived, you left because you kept us right, Colin. You were the youthful exuberance of the group. So
this is like 6 hours.
I say things like this. See, when I talk about there's only ever been one Highlander movie and there's only been 2 Godfather movies.
Yeah, there is only one Highlander movie.
Yeah.
But no, I would have in my top 10. I don't think if you're going to push you for a top 10 for Star Wars, I don't think Phantom Menace would be in it. Quite honestly, but then
I genuinely think we would all agree, like the top 3 you'd probably have some agreement on the top 3.
Yeah, they would probably spin around on each other. I do well, I find quite interesting and like we're chatting to Anna actually about it this week, and it's so. Like obviously, I was doing an old man rant about in episode 1 and being told that like actually like being explained at length about why episode 1 is actually really really underrated and really good, and that's why it's partly why I thought I went onto the group chat and said that we should do this video. So I'm like actually like it's so divisive. Like obviously like because Star Wars has been a franchise for almost 50 years now. It's what 45 years, 45, 46 years old now. Just. There's people like us who are young or old enough, to remember there only being 3 movies and that all being there is. And now you've got Sonny,
Yeah,
my youngest.
In one movie.
Yeah.
Like I lived through the second and third ones coming out. So
yeah. But then you've got Sonny, who's like you've got Sonny now, who's like he doesn't know it as anything other than what it's set up as on Disney Plus. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion. Anna was telling me why Attack of the Clones was like our favorite Star Wars movie, or one of our favorite Star Wars movies, and I wouldn't even. Again, I don't think I would make my top 10 of anything Star Wars.
It's definitely the best of. I've said this before because I always say about it's similar to the original trilogy. The middle movie's the best of the trilogy. Empire's the best of the original trilogy, and Clones is the best of the sort of new trilogy. It falls apart in the new trilogy because the 7, 8, 9 because the second one is a fucking abomination. But and the third one's not much better, to be fair.
So I'm assuming this is Colin's top 10 on the fly. Yeah, so it's a fascinating conversation.
One long title.
I think Andor was
I would have Rogue One much higher. If we're assuming that Rogue One is his number 10 and you're working down that list, I have Rogue One right down near episode 5. It's a conversation I think we need to have.
I think episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, is probably my top as well.
I think most people would put it as their top 1 or 2 at a push. I'm surprised the Mandalorian's not in your top 10 anywhere, Colin, to be honest. But
Andor, Rogue One, and the Mandalorian would be up there as well. Are you saying Rogue One?
Rogue One is number 1, so it's in descending order, or is it just? Sorry, Rogue One is number 1. Rogue One's my number 1. I would have Rogue One as my number 1. But yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Rogue One's got. I've only ever seen it once, and I'm very, very bad with names. But my favourite character, I think, in Star Wars canon is Donnie Yen's character. In Rogue One, he's absolutely phenomenal. So.
It's Anna said episode 1 is not divisive. The Last Jedi is divisive. People just didn't enjoy the Phantom Menace. New Star Wars doesn't feel like Star Wars.
The Last Jedi I thought was absolutely awful. Like that was just did not make sense at all. Like let's have a heist movie in the middle of the thing. Yeah. Last Jedi's probably one of these favourite ones. Yeah, we should.
I was going to say that we've been invited to start hosting some of our podcasts in the haberdashery in Dunfermline. I was in the haberdashery yesterday.
Again, is it?
Yes, back open again. Under new management, a friend of a friend has opened it, Chloe, and she's invited. I was there yesterday for 5 minutes to see Sonny. He was getting his dinner there with Claire, and I popped in to say hi. And Chloe was like, "Yeah, you guys can come in here whenever you want and do a podcast because they've got the wee side rooms in the old watering hole building. So we should definitely do a round table. I think these round table podcasts where we like rank shit would be quite fun. And like I say, like Colin's got a really good list there, and things like the Kieran Gillen Darth Vader comics, which I remember him reviewing on the show. Like Brewgooders Year 1, he was talking about them, and I've never even considered. I've never read a Star Wars comic, so yeah.
The Timothy Zahn novels, the first 3 novels of the expanded universe, Dark Force Rising and things like that. These were the ones that introduced General Thrawn and Grand Admiral Thrawn and things like this. They're phenomenal. Three books that basically felt like these should have been the set 5 years after Return of the Jedi. They should have done that instead of doing what they did.
Yeah.
So
I just think the idea that they took so much canon and binned it is quite scary as well. And it's just a bit of I'm a massive Doctor Who fan, and I'm very worried that when the Whoviverse becomes like a bigger part of Disney Plus, they'd start ditching shit.
Starts this weekend, doesn't it? It's
like I totally am very excited.
But I'm very worried about the Disneyfication after the Christmas special. Didn't feel like Who.
I felt like something new. Which Doctor Who reinvents itself every so often, so I'm prepared to like follow the reinvention. But yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Stu, you haven't commented in about 10 minutes.
I'm not a big Star Wars guy. So I don't think I've watched episode 1 to 3. So
No, that's
I know of, I mean, I had the sticker album for the Phantom Menace because everyone had it in school. So that was as close as I got to that first movie. Star Wars is really hit or miss. And I've never cared about Doctor Who either. So I'm just being very polite and listening.
Mm-hmm.
As Mark saying, it's going to give wee Katie from Dunfermline a chance. Yeah.
Chuchi did live in Dunfermline for a while as well. He's a local boy. Went to a local school here in Dunfermline. He's actually brilliant, and I've seen him in. He's in this show called Sex Education. About 4 seasons of it on Netflix, and he's absolutely brilliant in that. But it's a for three seasons out of 4, it's an absolutely brilliant show. Brilliant acting and stuff like this.
He showed up in something recently. Somebody was telling me, and I forgot what it was, but it's on my watch list. He's
in Barbie.
He is in Barbie. Yeah,
He said he was really good. I'll give him a chance. I'm not worried about the actors. I'm worried about, again, it's like Colin's probably right. I'm an old man and we want to change. We didn't want change. We want things to remain the same. Things were in the 80s.
Yeah. So we'll see, because it's RTD that's back in charge as well, the writing, and he's not the tightest writer in the world, but he is a great writer. What I quite find's funny is unless I'm mistaken, Doctor Who's on quite late on Saturday because they're trying to stream it along. It's going to be on the same time. It's going to get streamed here the same time it gets streamed in the States. But it's also after the Eurovision Song Contest, which is this Saturday, and Britain is being represented by the guy that I thought was going to be the new Doctor Who before they announced Scatwa. To be honest, I thought Ollie Alexander was going to be
years and years. The guy who won
years and years.
Is it Ronnie Russell T Davis' shows, isn't it?
Yeah, he was in this. It's a Sin. And he was brilliant in that. He was absolutely amazing in that. So as soon as they announced that Russell T Davis was coming back to write Doctor Who, I was like, "Oh, they'll get Ollie Alexander in as the new Doctor." Like that's quite an obvious choice.
I was convinced it was going to be Chris Marshall because he'd resigned from the show that he was on. He was My Family or something like that. There was all sorts of rumors.
Death in Paradise, wasn't it? Was it Death in Paradise?
He was going to Death in Paradise. That's why he sort of left. But I was convinced. Yeah, that was when Jodie Mitchell. Is it Jodie Mitchell? No.
Jodie Whittaker.
Jodie Whittaker. I was going to say Jodie Comer.
He's a good Doctor Who. He's quite. Sometimes there's an actor like a Chris Marshall in that you're like, that's quite an obvious choice. Actually, I got Richard D. Grant before they announced right at the beginning before they announced Chris Eccleston. I was like, Richard D. Grant's a very obvious Doctor Who.
You can be against somebody as well. Like you didn't know until you see somebody. Like you can be against somebody. I was quite against Matt Smith. I just didn't think. I thought he was too young, and I thought he's just not going to be able to bring any gravitas to it. Or, particularly after at the time, I thought David Tennant had been the best Doctor, since Tom Baker sort of thing.
It was excellent.
Matt Smith now is firmly established as my favourite of all the Doctors. I think he was absolutely phenomenal. We do top 10 Doctors. Matt Smith's
absolutely all over that. All over that. Anything else from this week, guys?
Favourite Geoff's one time, and we never managed to finish that.
What was that?
My top 5 Geoffs.
It was not the top five Toms at one point as well, wasn't it?
Jeff Bridges, Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I was hoping, Mark, that there wasn't somebody in the comments that was clever enough to remember that Richard D. Grant did play.
It was a comic relief special or something, was it not?
Yeah, the Curse of the Fatal Death. Yeah, it was good. He was also the Doctor Who. He was a Doctor in an animated version of Shaka as well, which was the unfilmed Douglas Adams story. Curse of the Fatal Death. Yeah, it's a good to check out on YouTube. It's good fun. star of Hugh Grant's in that as well. And he's pretty good too as well. So,
What is it?
like Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant's my favourite actor at the moment. I just love him. He's so funny.
I've seen Hugh Grant's brilliant, and I talked about this a few weeks ago about Wonka.
Oh yeah,
Hugh Grant's in Wonka, and he's brilliant in it. He's turned into just this grumpy old man that says whatever he likes. He's like become that guy.
yeah, like he was the same in Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, he's great. He's so funny in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, like I was like, how are they gonna make him the baddie? And then they made him quite a dislikable, like, and then he's obviously not the main baddie. He's just like he's like a puppet, but he's so funny in that role. The bit where he's like the bit where he's getting his cup, he's getting his coffee keeps burning in his mouth, and he's just like, that is scalding. It's like he forgets how hot his coffee is. It's great. It's very funny. Yeah. What are you guys up to this weekend? What's happening in the world of
Doctor Who? I may or may not be. I don't know. Actually, I've got no plans for the weekend. That tends to be my thing at the moment. I might watch some football, might not. See the seasons now. We're basically just in post-season now. There's only a couple of interesting games left, playoffs and things like that. So, yeah. I assume Tom's because Leeds.
He was at Leeds last week. He's still in hiding. He was at the Leeds Southampton game last week. So they play on Sunday, don't they? Midday. Sunday. So I don't think he's going down. So I'll probably be around at his. No, I'm going to the commercial tomorrow night. I'm very excited. I've not been to commercial in a couple of weeks. So
something on, or is it just a
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm good. Introducing people to my favourite establishment. And on Saturday it's the Dundee pinball meet. So Scottish Pinball Associations. So going up to a pub in Dundee to play pinball with Sunny, and then Doctor Who, and actually quite like Eurovision. So
I quite like Eurovision. I'm in a chat with these people that I've been in a chat with for many years. That we chat about everything that's happening on Eurovision. Like that used to be my favourite night for Facebook and Twitter. I would just comment on all the Eurovision things. So
I don't participate, but I do like to just watch the feed, because it's just full of folk that don't ever use Facebook, and all of a sudden being like, Norway were good. Oh, what are Sweden doing? It's like,
what on earth's going on there? The semi-finals going on at the moment, and Israel are involved in that one, so there's a bit of politics going on. There's been a bit
I've heard that there's a
bit of a kerfuffle.
I can see politics playing a part in scoring and shit.
I know. I just wish. I wish one year. I wish Ireland would just put My Lovely Horse in.
I wish that.
Yeah, next time Ireland have it, they should have Father Ted, obviously, because he died, but Ardor Hamlin maybe singing My Lovely Horse during the half-time show. That would be hilarious.
Absolutely. What are you doing this weekend, Stu? What's happening?
That's it. Eurovision's a big deal in this house. It's one of Max's favourite occasions. So we've got friends, wine, and I'll watch it. But hope that there's some good. There's always like those metal or rock acts that get thrown in because the country's like, fuck it, what's the worst that could happen? So I always go hoping that there's going to be some cool heavy metal bands. I mean, last year you got Land of the Lost. Couldn't tell you what country they were from, but they'd done a song called Blood and Glitter that was really good, and they ended up supporting Iron Maiden like a month later. So I actually got to see them at the Hydro.
There's always some like I love there's some absolute bangers at Eurovision that just transcend actual Eurovision. I think it is Lorene's Euphoria is just a banger.
During lockdown, there was a band called there was a band from Sweden or Norway or something like that.
Was it Iceland's one, that baby? I don't
that one, or something like that. They absolutely would have won it. They were my favourite Eurosong song for years.
That went massive on TikTok though, didn't it?
Afterwards, live show you would ever go to, where you would see a hard rock and then something really poppy, and then some girl playing panpipes. And it's just like, and you're expecting, oh yeah, that was good. I love that. It used to be funny.
There's something for everyone. All the stars are here.
Yeah, Terry Wogan used to do it, and he got drunker and drunker as the night went on.
Yeah.
By the time the 23rd one came on, he was slurring and talking nonsense and stuff like that.
Oh, it's great. I used to love it.
I think Graham Norton does it now, but it's just not the same.
He's catty, but he usually says, he sometimes says what you're thinking as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully, by the time we do our next episode, I might have gotten a chance to go see that new Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh, yeah.
That looks good. I think the trailer looks good for that. I quite like all of these ones.
Yeah. Between that and Fall Guy, both two films I really want to see, but there's definitely no enough time.
Yeah, it's all about timing. I was in when I was in the cinema on Monday, part of me was like, could I just nip out and get more because the Fall Guy's a 12A. So I was like, actually,
sure.
I could take. Well, I think I could take something because it was this week's IMAX movie at the IMAX screen at the Odeon. I was like, actually, I could probably nip in with Sonny. He would quite like to watch another movie, but it's just time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hoping to go like cheap tickets on Monday nights. I don't think anyone else is interested, so I might have to just get a solo trip to the cinema.
You're not tempted by Challengers, the sexy drama with Zendaya about tennis?
Nah, she's the blandest. I don't like Zendaya. Really, it's like she's the selling point to this film.
I'm absolutely. What's not to like about Zendaya? She's a lovely girl. Have you not seen The Greatest Showman? She's a marvelous in it.
Not seen
Spider-Man.
Yeah, she's the girlfriend, and it's quippy. she's not the selling point. And then yes, tennis.
She's great in June. She's great in June too. She's really good in Zendaya.
I'm getting back to what. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
I've
only ever seen it written down, so I don't think I've ever heard.
She's great in She's great in June 2, apart from this one bit, and I'll get slagged off or I'll get a right for bad mouth in June 2. But one of my favorite, she does. I think she gets given. Just sometimes when you watch a film and you're like something happens and you're like, oh, let's just take him out of it just for a moment. Mm-hmm. She has to carry a line in June Part 2 where it's basically the line to cleverly project that time has passed since the last time you were with these characters. And so there's a moment where her and Shamily Spice Boy have decided, he is a Spice Boy.
I think he's this generation's Marlon Brando. He's going to go down as one of the greatest actors of all time.
No, I think so too. I just like to call him Spice Boy because it has connotations in Scotland, because he spends most of the June movies high on spice. But no, so you see their characters in June Part 2, and then it goes to other characters in different parts of the Juniverse, and then it comes back to them in a tent, and he wakes up from a nightmare, and then she kind of leans over and strokes his face and says "Oh, you've not had a nightmare like that in quite a long time." And it's just it's a line like that, and it's just there solely to then convey the fact that time has passed since the last time you saw those characters. And I just thought it was on the nose. She might as well look to the camera and went 6 months later, and then continued with the scene.
Is that Pinky in the Brain or something like that? They do this thing a few moments later.
She might as well have just broke the fourth wall. It was such an on the nose, and I was like, but actually, I've got to a point now where I'm like, that's not her fault. It's you can only deal that you can only deal with the cards you've been played with, can you? So.
Listen, as a good filmmaker, it's always show me, don't tell me. There's nothing worse than than too much exposition telling you oh, it's been 6 months since I saw you like this or something like that. It's just show me.
It's very much like that. Whereas there's other tells in June Part 2 where Rebecca Ferguson's character is pregnant, and so actually every time you see her, she's at a different stage of her pregnancy, and actually that's quite a clever way of demonstrating the passage of time. poor Zendaya had one line, and it was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So
as Mark saying that Shamley was woefully miscast. I disagree. I thought it was really good.
By the way, I totally disagree. If you've read the book, at the start of the book, he's 15, he's young, he's slim, he's not a big strong guy or anything like that. It's all about the person rather than the character. I think Kyle, what's his name, was woefully miscast. So yeah, no, I thought he was brilliant.
He's like one of the main guys in Fallout, isn't he? Or he's not one of the main guys. He's like
he's the father of the
main girl.
One of the main characters.
He'll always be the main guy in Twin Peaks to me. That's his.
Yeah,
I've never watched.
Like that. Twin Peaks is Stu, you need to watch Twin Peaks, man. You love Twin Peaks. I'm surprised you've not seen Twin Peaks. That's a very Stu program, I think. Like it's good. I tell you what I watched last week before we call it quits, and I hadn't seen it yet, and it's one of those moments where I was like, why have I not watched this? And I would have talked about it probably longer last week. I watched The Big Lebowski for the first time last week.
Oh yeah.
And exactly. I know.
Possibly my favourite movie of all time. It's amazing.
Well, Fargo's one of mine. Like Fargo is one of my, and I just had a moment where I was like, why have I not watched it came up as a suggestion on something, and I was like, why have I not watched that? Like Fargo's like one of my favourite movies ever, and it's like
Fargo's up there as well.
Fargo is up there, but like I think Big Lebowski is regarded as like their masterpiece, isn't it? You know, Fargo. They cut their teeth with Fargo and then made the Big Lebowski, and
the
absolutely really good.
Coen Brothers. I mean, the Fargo TV show.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, it's a great man. Look at the rug. By the way, see that rug? Really ties the room together. It's a marvelous film. But yeah, those guys have made so many good films.
Yeah.
And the TV show is phenomenal as well. Every single season. The Coens, the Fargo TV show is brilliant. Every season's unique, brilliantly cast, and just amazing.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
They'll do
I had to throw that in there.
So yeah.
Anything else, team, before we call it quits for this evening?
I said this about this before we came online. The trailer dropped for the next season of The Boys, and it looks absolute batshit. It's going to be the craziest season yet.
That's saying quite a lot as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be the final season. I know that the next season, Umbrella Academy, is going to be the final one, but I'm not sure if this is the same. This one's going to be the last one of The Boys, but that dropped. I watched something else, but I can't remember what it was. There you go.
No, I haven't seen it, to be honest. Their trailers, I've not seen it yet, but I will. Their trailers are great normally, but what I really enjoyed, I think it was the trailer for the last season, and it was just like folk talking to Homelander, and the camera just slowly, as the clip goes on, and folk are talking, the camera just slowly like closes in on Homelander's face, and he's just like, and then the music dies down, and then it's just like you remember how fucking nuts he is. It's like, this is great, so good, just very, very, very clever filmmaking, and that like it just the removal of sound and not taking the camera away from Andy Starr's face. It's just it's going to be massive. It's a good show. Looking forward to that one coming back. Yeah, it's a great show. I'm interested to see where they go with it. I thought season 4 tied up some of the characters perfectly, actually. But then that's the whole point. Like I think they tie some bits up and then they loosen off threads elsewhere. So like I think Huey was the bad place at the end of season 3, but Billy wasn't, and then they've kind of reversed them roles now. It's good.
They did a spin-off, didn't they? They're almost like doing a universe.
Oh yeah,
Gen V.
Yeah.
Which I didn't watch
it.
yet.
I heard it's good though.
Yeah, I've watched it.
I think it's its own thing. I think if you take it as its own thing, I think a lot of people wanted it to be more like the comics, but there's a lot in the comics you probably couldn't have done. So, yeah, I think it's as a standalone as its own thing. I think it's very good. I think the one thing I always found kind of jarring was Billy Butcher. Like Billy Butcher's used to have a beard before all the bad things happened to him, and now he's clean shaven in the comics. Whereas in this, it's completely opposite. He was clean shaven, and now he's got the beard. But I think again, I'm dreadful with names, but I think the guy that plays him is absolutely brilliant in just about everything he does as well. The Australian guy,
Carl Urban, is it?
Kyle Urban.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Dreads on underrated.
Dreads, one more dread. That's what I want. They've been talking about this. When is this coming? We talked about this Mega City 1.
The Mega City 1.
We were going to get a Dread universe about young judges that Carl Urban could have just like stepped in and done occasional cameos for.
It's too late now. We're going to have to wait for Timothy Chalamet to be old enough to get in the suit. Or to get a license for a bike.
I would wait for that. My fear is that the next time we would do it would be fucking John Cena or something like that.
Dread does need a sequel. It's just
you're preaching a converted here, Mark. We've said it for years. Dread was just a phenomenal piece of filmmaking.
But saying that, we kind of have our Dread with John Cena already in form of Peacemaker.
Oh yeah,
with a big helmet on.
Peacemaker was brilliant. We're getting a season 2 of Peacemaker.
Yeah, they've just teased.
We must be getting a season 2 of Peacemaker.
That show
again for the set.
Batshit crazy, but absolutely brilliant. That's probably my favourite piece.
So fucking good.
Over the last 2 or 3 years, it was just amazing.
The season 2.
Just watch the opening credits.
Yeah, crazy.
It's been delayed, but it's not because the opening credits are amazing. It's been delayed because he's Gunn's working on Superman for next year. So
John Cena or Gunn?
James Gunn is.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to? Do you really want to? So good.
Yeah.
I was watching that. I watched that scene again. You can see where he's listed all the folk that could kill us. When the tech guy like frames his dad. So he goes to prison, and it's like
people you could have said,
and he just goes on for fucking ages. It's great. Ozzy Osbourne, Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah. It's just from the very start. It was just absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. Eagerly, hold on.
Eagerly.
Yeah, no, it was great. I'll say something there, but I couldn't remember. Oh yeah, the other thing reading this week was apparently the Superman costume.
Yeah.
David Gordon Sweat's costume. I think it looks like a Superman costume. Personally,
it looks like a Superman costume.
You know, they've slightly changed the S, but then they've done that every single time they've made a movie.
Mm-hmm. He had a curl in his hair that ticks the boxes.
Folk complaining that he's not big enough. That's the only thing, and you're like,
he's sitting down.
Superman's a state of mind. It's not a size thing. I think. I always thought Henry Cavill.
Body shaming, man. Like, are we body shaming actors now? Just
I know. Listen, you see Tyler Hoechlin, who plays him in the TV show. I think he's just really believable as Superman, just because of the way he is. I think that worked. Brandon Routh was great as Superman. Christopher Reeve obviously was great as Superman. You just have to get used to a new face in it. Dean Cain was great as Superman for a while. I thought he wasn't bad. He was what we had at the time.
Nicolas Cage was great as Superman in that one scene from
Nicolas Cage would have been an abomination as Superman. That's
AI image.
I'm going to say this, not because of Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage fucking rules. Nicolas Cage is amazing. I think have you seen that thing that he did recently where he played a version of himself? The unbearable weight of massive talent. It was snubbed at the Oscars. I thought it was absolutely amazing. For Superman, it was the whole the guy who was with Tim Burton was going to make that version of Superman.
Superman Triumphant, was it what it's called? Or
Man Lives.
Yeah, I think it would have been awful.
Yeah,
but I did mark out a wee bit when it showed up in the Flash. And I saw the spiders and the back of Superman. I was like, it's fucking.
I've actually read the spiders come from Kevin Smith did a script called Superman Lives, and I used to have a copy of it on my hard drive, and you can find it on the internet if you have a look around, and it has massive spiders in it. And Kevin Smith tells this great story about why it was the producer at the time, and he tells this story about him when they were getting him to make storytelling. If you get yourself on YouTube and have a look at Kevin Smith talking about it.
Oh, check it out. I assume that's what they do because it was giant spiders all over the place in that time, wasn't it? Like, it was fucking Wild West.
He was
1999. It was the year it was supposed to come out.
The same guy who did that. It was the guy who was the producer who wanted the giant spiders. Didn't he get them in Superman? And he went and made Men in Black, which had giant metal spiders. Mark's saying Cage can be great, but he's been in a lot of old shite too. He had this like £100 million tax bill that he's still paying. He had to sell his comic collection and things like this. So he basically had to make movie after movie after movie to pay back the tax man because he had bad advice back in the day. But he's been in some great movie. Aye.
Yeah. No, he has. He's been in some tremendous movies and then some dog shit.
You've acted in something. Yeah, but when he's good, he can be really, really good.
Yeah, totally agree. I guess we'll call it quits there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As always, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, I'm up for doing one at the pub if we want to do a live show on a Thursday. I'm giving an excuse to get out of the house. I could do that. I could bring the equipment along.
We'll work out something. That'd be good fun.
Decent equipment. As long as we've got internet.
Speak to the boys, speak to the pub, we'll see what we can do. But yeah, we'll catch everyone really soon. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.